All right, everyone. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, everybody.
How's it going?
So,
Cheers.
all back
Cheers.
again. Yeah.
Cheers.
Finally, Saturday night.
How much was your Guinness, Darcy?
This is a 500 milliliter can for $3.75. So I don't know what that is. That's what, probably £2?
I don't think mine's 500. I think mine's only 440.
Yeah,
so
we make things better in Canada, bigger and better.
Bigger
Yeah,
and better.
I design
Better.
440.
They've got to drive further in Canada to go shopping, so you've got to make it worthwhile.
That's true.
yeah, I just bought a 15 can pack for 13 quid. So I'm
Sweet.
I just found
that's
this
about right.
on the
Yeah.
street outside, so it's quite nice. Though.
And it
Still
was
some left, was there?
Yeah,
was only
it was
half
open,
full,
like.
yeah.
Is it an amber ale? Is it?
Yeah, definitely amber. Very bitter.
He's just topped it up with a bit of iron brew
Yeah.
just to get those
Somebody
cigarette
was a bit
ends out.
dehydrated, I think.
Tastes a bit trampy.
Oh,
Peter,
Peter.
good
We've
evening,
got
sir.
people watching this beer review of the year. By Peter. What we got else? We got Hambo,
Good evening. Sam,
Sam.
Real good, Sam.
as I was saying
We are
earlier,
doing
though,
this.
this,
We
Daniel.
are doing this.
this beer review, the way I'm sat, that's a perfect beer review there.
I know. I look like Jabba the Hutt flying here.
What is that on your t-shirt, Mark? Is that because it looks like is that like a ghoul or something, or is it because it looks like a?
Yeah,
Somebody-
it's kind of,
Somebody
it's
gets
kinda
undead. It looks like he's got a very good belly for an undead.
yeah, no, it's perfect. It's like some kind of weird sort of alien, like those face hugger aliens.
Who's that? Mason?
Mason, yeah,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
down under.
The
Supporting
dude.
the
Did
Supporting the
Brennan
Irish
send you
side
that?
out there.
Oh, okay. I got
Come on, Scott, what you
Little
letting us see
firepower.
down here? What band are you repping?
okay.
Do it. Just do it, mate.
Just do it.
Just
Yeah.
It's comfy, right?
Yep, we're all set to have a lot of fun here.
Giles Randers. Hello,
Jacob.
good evening. Good evening. Yeah.
Beer section.
yeah.
This looks like it's been rinsed through
Yeah.
a tramp sock.
Bought and paid for, you guys.
Absolutely. Josh. Music 90. Excellent.
Oh, coming in thick and fast, faster like
Oh, come on. This is going to be a good one tonight.
Joe.
boom. Let's get through a few of these. Welcome,
Derek,
Eric,
Right, boys,
Good
don't
evening.
let the
David.
fans down.
David,
David.
right, Gareth.
Gareth.
How
Liam.
do?
Oh, there he is.
How do?
There's
The
the
best
man.
looking guy on YouTube. There he is, Liam, right there.
Hey,
Well, there.
what about me?
It's not what you told me, Darcy. You're just.
Yeah. That's what
You tell
Darcy,
us all the boys.
Darcy tells everybody.
Yeah.
Nicest guy on the internet. Right. So
Liam's Liam's flying 500 subs. He's been making videos about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And he's got about 500 subs.
And
It's
well
because
deserved.
everyone thinks they're watching the guy from Volbeat.
Yeah, well deserved. He's a good lad. Marty,
Marty.
good
Yeah.
evening, sir. Hope you're well.
Cheers.
right. So God, people keep joining. I wish people would join. I just have to spend my time here.
Adrian,
Just
Adrian.
let them have their moment. Come on, there's no
Adrian.
rush.
You there?
Just relax.
yeah. And I
Excuse
think
me.
Andy's flapping a bit. He's in control. He's seen it's all happening. He's not used to all these viewers.
Maybe
I'm
these
50
four.
now, you know? I'm 50.
I'm still a young
Hey.
buck.
I'm the senior here. I'm the senior statesman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like the rookie.
You're like the water boy.
I'm like the Wookiee.
Get me a Gatorade, bitch.
Right. Should we get going, fellas?
Oh, that's me fucking told then.
I used to be normal until I met you guys.
Well, that's what happens.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
It's us dodgy northerners.
So shall we get going then, or should we just talk bollocks?
Okay then, Dad.
Ready to roll?
Let's do it.
So we are continuing our A to Z that we bundled our way through last time. I think we got it to O,
P.
and we finished. Well, we got to O with the last ones. Scott, no?
Yeah.
We're doing P next.
Oh yeah, it's P now.
So Darcy, do you want to go for a P?
Okay, I'm going to go for a P. Unfortunately, all my my Pantera CDs are I loaned them all out today, so we're okay. Anyways, we'll go for some Primal Fear. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with these guys. I'll take this out of the sleeve. So this is Primal Fear's third album. These guys put out an album every 2 years. This one is called Nuclear Fire. This one is from, I think, 2001. I don't know. People say this is power metal. I just call it metal. It's straight up metal. You hear a lot of people talking about kind of Judas Priest's Painkiller era worship, which in the beginning, you know what? I wouldn't argue that. They definitely have that sound. But as they went through, 7, 8, 9, 10 albums, they developed their own sound. But this is definitely one that I would rank quite high if I was doing a Primal Fear ranking. I'm not sure what you guys have all heard for Primal Fear stuff, in the vein of, Accept, just traditional metal, but some great tracks. Actually, my favorite Primal Fear song is on this album. It's called Eye of an Eagle. Absolutely ripper, heavy, good stuff. So I'm not sure where you guys are at with this band or what you have. I know Andy has a couple, one or two. Scott, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I've not got any Primal Fear, to be honest, but it's one of those bands that, I just keep meaning to always pick up one or two of their albums, and I've just never done it yet. But I'm sure that'll change this year because I've got a few of their albums in my Amazon want list now. So, but I've only heard maybe a few tracks, but I would kind of put them like you say with Accept or maybe like kind of Gravedigger, that kind of band. But I mean, I'm not an expert on Primal Fear. But one thing they do well is they have some awesome artwork. They always seem to, and I love bands that, although obviously it's about the music, but if they go to the extra effort to put out some awesome artwork with it, and that sells it for me as well.
Well, and Ralph Sheepers is a hell of a singer. He's actually on the brand new MSG album too, on a couple of tracks with Michael Schenker. And I'm definitely going to pick that one up just because Ralph's on there a couple times. And obviously you guys all know that he didn't get the gig with Judas Priest. And he went on to meet up with Matt Sinner from the band Sinner. And away they went. And, basically way back in this album, if you fast forward to what's going on these days with Metal Commando, their latest album, there's only two guys from this album on Metal Commando. That's Matt and Ralph. So, they've been able to always, surround themselves with some great guitar players, drummers like Randy Black, good old Canadian boy, Randy Black, and, just some really good guitar players, like I said, and still being able to maintain that sound.
Who was Sheepers with before Primal Scream? Because he didn't leave a band to do the Judas Priest.
Gamma Ray.
He's with Gamma Ray. Yeah, he was, wasn't he? At the start, before Kai Hansen. Yeah.
Three albums, the first three.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? I'm a Gamma Ray fan with Kai on vocals. I like the Ralph Sheepers stuff, but
I prefer
Kai Hansen all the way for me with Gamma Ray. So it was kind of one of those win-win situations where Ralph went off to do something get his own band going. He didn't get the Priest gig, and I don't know. I always thought, what if he would have got the Priest gig? It would have been kind of like replacing, similar to the lines of where Todd Latore replaced Jeff Tate in Queensryche, more of a apple to apple comparison. You know what I mean? But anyways, went on to do some good things with Primal Fear. I think they're on their 13th album now.
And that there is one of the problems I have with them. I couldn't tell you the name of a song or an album or anything. Yeah. And but I do know they have a big catalogue purely because I've seen that many albums held up in vinyl community videos. And I tend to skirt around standard heavy metal, but as you all know, recently I sort of discovered Accept and got into them. But that's pretty rare for me to sort of latch onto a standard heavy metal band, because I just don't. I find it hard to get excited over some like that's so middle of the road type of thing. So I know I've got the first Gamma Ray album, but I tend to listen to that other one. I can't remember what to call it now. The really like the best Gamma Ray album.
Land of the Free.
Land of the Free.
Yeah.
Land of the Free.
Yeah. That's the one I tend to listen to. So I don't know. I don't know the guy and I don't know the band, but I kind of think, oh, that's too big for me to get involved with. That coupled with the sort of standard heavy metal. I mean, if people are thinking it's sort of Priest worship, I've really only took to Priest in the last four years or so. So it's pointless me sort of even trying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more than Priest worship for sure, nowadays, but I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, so I've got this one that you sent me, Darcy, and I don't think it's Priest worship at all. And no. I want to look at it. I love this. I spun it, and then I went and added a load to my want list, and then another shiny thing happened over this. I went, oh, that band, and then another shiny thing. I've just kind of not forgotten about them as such, but just not. I thought I would dive in deeper, and I just haven't got round to it yet. But I think we're from a German sort of, because I still think they're a bit they're probably not as power metal-y as likes of Gamma Ray and Iron Savior and bands like that. But because I've got all of those by those bands, I kind of don't dip so much into bands like these. Whereas, as you say, thinking about it, it isn't. I mean, it's not Priest clone, and it's certainly not really actually that much like Gamma Ray at the end of the day, is it? Gamma Ray's a lot more, Kai Hansen's signature tone that he does on everything that he's done, and I absolutely love that. And so I'll have to get in more, but I'm surprised that have you not done a ranking of Primal Fear yet, Darcy?
No, I just haven't got around to it. A lot of these, you know what, I won't lie about some of these albums. A lot of them are samey, but I don't mind that, you guys. I just want a good, solid album. I'm not looking for anything to blow my mind. I look for, for example, I look for things like the new Todd Latore to blow my mind. Okay. When it comes to Primal Fear, I'm just looking for a good, solid album. A few tracks that stick out here and there. They're not going to reinvent the wheel every time they put out an album. That's for sure. But yeah, I'll get to a ranking for sure on them. And I really want to do the U.D.O stuff first, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of comes across a lot in the kind of VC anyway, is it's almost like people are scared to say something's not as good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People might say, oh, it's good, but it's not as good as this. Or it's okay, but it's not as good as this. I mean, a band with that big a discography is going to have shit. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's a rare occasion, they're going to have a dud album or a couple of dud albums anyway. So, I mean, but that's good. It shows a band's trying to mix it up as well. Like, I get what you mean by bands having the same sound, and they're not like reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But that's also good if you're consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's when it gets to the stage where you're doing the same thing over and over again and it gets gradually worse. That's when you have to start going, right, you need to pick it up a bit. But if these bands are putting out consistently good quality music, then I don't see the problem with that at all.
Yeah. When I first sort of joined the VC and thought about making videos, excuse me, I always kind of thought I didn't want to start making videos. I wanted to see how sort of educated I was before I came on, because I didn't want to come on and think people think he's listening to what he's talking, don't know what he's talking about. And I joined and I heard people talking about Primal Fear, and I was like, I've never heard of them before. I was well aware of Halloween, Blind Guardian, Gamma Ray, all these bands. I'd never heard of Primal Fear. And I watched videos of other people, and I'm thinking, like I say, I like to pride myself on thinking I know what I'm talking about, but I'd never heard of them. And then people saying, "Oh, this is their 10th album," and I'm like, "Why? Why have I never heard of them? I've got no idea why I don't think they were a big name over in the UK. I don't know what the other guys think. If when you heard bands like Halloween and you just didn't hear the name Primal Fear for some reason. I don't know. And it's only in the last couple of years. So my problem's a bit the same as Mike. I'm only new to them now, and I certainly haven't given them enough time to sink in. And without upsetting anyone who's watching who likes them, they do kind of sound a bit middle of the road to me. There's nothing. They're solid. I don't think they're shit by any means, but there's nothing there that's exciting me as much as other bands that I would listen to. But, it's mental to think a band that's got 13 albums out, and the age I am, I've only heard of them in the last couple of years.
Sound words.
Yes, Martin always talks sense. That's for sure.
The thing is, Marty, people are frightened of upsetting and losing subscribers because of that. So they just want to say, "Oh, this is good." It's not much of a barometer, is it? That's why I don't mind saying, so much shit, because there's no point in me telling you something's good just to win you over, because it doesn't mean anything.
No, but
too many people don't do that though.
But and in the same breath, Mike, you're the first to come back and say, "Hey, I was wrong."
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah,
and I
do that.
I always commend you for that. You'll come back and say, "Hey, that's pretty good." I don't know where I was a year ago with that band, but I'm on board now.
Yeah.
But then again,
that
if
happens.
you lied in the first place, then you wouldn't have to backtrack later, would you?
always a good trait, that, isn't it? Good advice.
Right, shall we?
Damn right, Marty. Damn right.
You're on a Q. Q's me, isn't it?
Q.
So I've got couple of bastard letters today.
Well, that's my fault then.
So I'll tell you. What Q? And I have chosen an album I really don't like, just to add it in as well. That's Quiet Riot 3. Quite possibly one of the worst albums I think I have in my collection. And I liked Quiet Riot. The first couple, I bought it because I liked the first couple, but this one, when I heard it, I didn't get it. And I've heard people say that this is their favorite Quiet Riot album. And the only reason, why have I still got it if it's shit, is because I bought it when I was on holiday in the States, and I kind of feel like, it's a memento of that holiday. I've kept hold of it for now. But what happened to them? Because the first couple of albums I thought were kind of raw, raunchy, if I want that word. And but this just seems horrible.
Well, and that's actually technically their fifth album. Actually, in reality. They have 2 albums that they don't even really acknowledge. The 2 with Randy Rhoads. But definitely not a piece of crap in my mind, but not my favorite Quiet Riot either.
Is it Paul Shortino on that one?
No, he's in the next one.
Next one.
We got Frankie Banali, Carlos Cavazo, Kevin DeBrow, and Chuck Wright.
Yeah, Chuck Wright took over for Rudy Sarzo on bass on that album.
Yeah. I've only heard the first 2, and to be honest, I could only probably do with Metal Health. Not the first 2, but like where I kind of came into Quiet Riot was with Metal Health, and to be honest, I got is it Condition Critical?
Condition Critical.
Yeah.
I don't mind that one.
I wasn't a
album.
massive fan of that. I mean, it was okay, but it was okay. But I think Metal Health's where it's at.
I've only heard Metal Health. I've got that one, and that's the only one I've heard. And to be honest, I only heard that for the first time about 2 years ago. But I really enjoy that one. But
yeah,
no idea about
Love's a Bitch, right? That song.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
It's a great album. I love it. I think that Kevin DeBrow sounds like Noddy Alder, and Noddy Alder had an awesome voice. Like Blackie Lawless, Noddy Alder, and him off Quiet Riot. I think they're all very similar. But
did they not do a cover as well? Quiet Riot of.
I think they did 2.
Yeah, they do the Slade cover. Yeah, they do the Slade cover.
But no, that one you got is a lot of keyboard heavy too, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the thing that really surprised me. I was kind of expecting it to be. As I say, I was in this small town in Texas when I picked it up. I think it was just called Spring, and they had one record store there, and they just had that hurricane out in Texas. They had really bad flooding, and the guy had all his stuff up on, it was like on stilts. I kind of felt obliged to buy something. I wanted to buy something, so I bought that. And well, I did find Defenders of the Faith there as well, Judas Priest. So it wasn't a wasted trip. But it was out in the middle of nowhere and it had like a better record shop than most of the places I see around the UK these days. So
I'm looking for some Quiet Riot.
Because as I was buying it, nothing had prices on. You had to take it up, and the guy was there with his little laptop and is connected to his phone. So he was obviously using the internet through his phone, and he was looking on Discogs. He was going like, "Yeah, that's this many dollars. That's this many dollars." So it wasn't the most professional of setups, but kind of added to the quaintness of it. Should we say?
So you guys will all take Metal Health over that one then?
Yeah, that's the only one I've really heard, Metal Health, and because I absolutely loved the artwork on that album, and I think it was through finding out Randy Rhoads was initially with them before he left to join Ozzy's band. That kind of, but again, another band, Quiet Riot, that seemed to not travel across the water that well. They weren't.
Yeah,
they weren't a really renowned band over in the UK at all.
No.
See, some people love it, and I've heard that on the VC so many times. People say they love it. It's a great album, and obviously it's down to personal taste. But I was quite excited to hear it when I heard it was like their best album from some people on here, but didn't work for me.
No, not their best album. That's for sure. Couple good tracks. I think there's The Wild and the Young is a decent track, and Twilight Hotel or Motel or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
but past that, too many keyboards there. Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you the names of the songs on here. I've not heard it in 3 years since I went.
Is that album like a one-off with the keyboard heavy sort of pop rock style, or did they kind of adopt that style moving forward on the other albums?
Well,
I don't know, because I stopped when I heard that.
The next album after that is the one you were saying about with Paul Shortino. And they definitely had some keyboards. They continued on a similar path, but you know what? It actually worked better on the QR album, the fourth album with Paul Shortino.
That's on the. Is that a red cover that's got that one? That's like a,
yeah, with some. Originally, it was if you know the cover, it was supposed to be called King of the Hill, and it's got this little. I have it right here, I think. I don't know where the hell it is. Anyways, yeah, but they kind of continued a little bit with that keyboard, you know, not dominating it, but definitely on there. But I would say I'd still go with Metal Health or Condition Critical myself.
Well, here's a useless fact. I was watching a program with my wife, and she's like into all this kind of like Hollywood plastic surgery stuff. And Kevin Dubro's brother is that big time Hollywood plastic surgeon. I don't know his first name, but Dr. Dubrow is what he gets called on the program.
Dr. Dubrow.
But he's married to somebody from, you know, like Housewives of fucking somewhere in America.
Yeah. I hope you jumped on that info and told your wife straight away when that came on.
I went, that's Kevin Dubrow's brother. She's like, who the fuck is Kevin Dubrow?
Is she still looking around the house?
While he's in there with the implants, for the guy's pecs implants. Bang your head. Is it me?
It's a good job Darcy's with us, because we know fuck all about Quiet Riot. Other than
I know.
The singer's brother's a plastic surgeon.
It was a test he passed.
With flying colours.
Flying colours, well done. Get you next time.
So I'm on R.
What's
So
Scott
I've picked a band that kind of started this kind of mid-80s pop metal kind of thing. I'm a big fan of the first 5 albums. And it's that kind of music. I'm not going to show you the album yet, but it's that kind of music that I can picture the mid-80s, California, top down in the car, and you're just going to be cranking this shit right up. I can only apologise for the opinions of the guy sitting next to me. But I'm sure a lot of you would like to really have your say while we're live and tell Mike how wrong he is.
Brilliant.
So
Scott.
I've gone
Brilliant.
and I thought, see now it's maybe the last part of this for a while. I thought I couldn't not bring this band up. So I've gone for the second album from Ratt and Invasion of Your Privacy. And please can everyone tell Mike how wrong he is and how good this album is. So he did this amazing impression of "You're in love, lay it down." But this is an absolute classic album, by the way. I listened to this just before we came on. And you know what? Every song is awesome. And it's one of those albums that is like, should be a staple of that kind of pop metal of the 80s. So, what do we think of that?
Mike?
Not you.
You're speechless.
When I listened to them Ratt albums, the one that jumped out for me was Reach for the Sky. Was that the one? Yeah. I think it was Reach. That was the one. That's on tape as well. You know, Matt, you should really send me that.
Yeah.
I actually liked that one, and I thought if I was going to have one Ratt album, this would be it. But it's just fucking mediocrity, like massively.
Oh, come on.
It is seriously. It's everything I said it was in that fucking video. It's limp, dick, fucking lifeless shit. That's just you are for fetching that up. Oh,
honestly, that is almost like pop metal, but with like a wee edge on it.
The edge isn't enough.
You need
There's
to give this another listen.
no energy. There's no energy though.
You don't need the
It's
energy.
going through the motions. They're a band
who go.
They're a band who just go through the motions. Yes, you can hold a tune, and yes, they can play their instruments, but nothing grabs you. It doesn't excite. And this is, I mean, forget what come after it. I don't think this would have excited me in fucking 1984, because even then you had Wasp and Motley Crue pissing all over Ratt. Twisted Sister, piss all over Ratt.
Can I just say one thing, right? I'm obviously a massive fan of Motley Crue. The Motley Crue's Theatre of Pain and this came out in the same year. Now, Motley Crue might have some stronger tracks, but this is a more solid album all the way through. This is overall a more solid album.
Mark, please defend me.
Look what you've done, Scott. Now, I have this album, Reach for the Sky. I know a few people on there are disgusted already, me being an old school death metal fan, but this, a good friend of mine back in the day, when I was listening to thrash, but he was a big fan of Queen's Reich, and this album had just come out at the time, and he said, listen to this new Ratt album. And I think he was trying to sort of test the waters. So I have quite an affinity with this album because it's got some fond memories for me. But I do totally get where Mike's coming from, because it's not glam rock or glam metal, whatever you call it, in the same vein as Motley Crue and bands like that. It's I always kind of lumped it a bit more with Poison. It didn't have that aggression, that sort of the hardness that, you know, like a lot of my friends who are into thrash quite liked Motley Crue as well, because there was riffs in there and there was a bit of something about them. But Ratt were more sort of the softer side of glam. That album, Invasion of Your Privacy, I've heard it. I don't mind it. You know, I quite like listening to a bit of something different. I've said it to you guys before about cleansing the palate. But you know, for me, if I wanted to listen to a bit of what I would class as like top grade glam metal, Ratt don't quite do it for me as much as Motley Crue would. You know, a band like that.
I couldn't add too much more to that. I mean, I wasn't really aware of Ratt when they were out and about, and certainly would have gone for Motley Crue above them. But you know, I've picked most of these up in the last 5 or 6 years, and someone mentioned about the EP being the favourite. That's probably mine as well, the first one. But I never used to get the cover, or else, you know, get the cover, but when it was the invasion of your privacy, I couldn't get why it was an invasion of someone's privacy when you're in the same room as the person. I thought it should have been through someone looking through the window, and it took ages to realize there was a camera up in the top corner. So I just didn't get the cover at all.
I've never noticed that before. Can you believe that? I didn't know that.
No, I haven't.
I was just too busy looking
at
the
I'm proud of that fact, though.
But if you're in the room, it's not that much of an invasion of their privacy, is it? Unless you like barged your way in. And I thought maybe if they should have taken it from the other side, looking through the patio windows, while she was unawares. But yeah, camera top right.
It should have been more like the cover of that album you've got, Andy, where it's like a girl walking along the beach and a guy in like bandages hiding behind the pier.
Oh, brilliant! That
easy.
That's fucking brilliant. That.
What a cover that is!
Let me find that one.
He's got the Rip t-shirt on.
Yeah,
it's a fucking idiot.
This is completely clean.
Have you seen this, Darcy?
Behind the surfboard or something.
There we go.
You know, that Ratt cover it's a multifunctional cover for sure for a 17-year-old boy. For sure, I gotta admit that.
Yeah, that's why you need those plastic sleeves.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, might be another day.
I mean, the CD is much easier because you can hold it with one hand.
Yeah.
I didn't know you liked them windows so much.
I've completely lost track of the comments now. Hold on, where are we up to? Yeah, there's some good ones here. Yeah.
Yeah, the Captains. Yeah, that other album cover. Just going back to that as well, and just the fact that album, the band's called Predator as well. I mean, it's just genius, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anthony.
I've actually just thought of a good subject for a future video, but I'll ask me after. I probably forgot. I think it's down.
Actually, Mike, do you remember me sending you a picture of a modern day? You know that girl on that cover?
Oh yeah.
What she looks like these days?
Yeah.
Oh, your word, tragic.
She looked like she should have been on fucking Russ Abbott's Madhouse.
Yeah, she's no Kelly Clarkson, eh?
No.
I saw a website and it was showing
no,
you
dragons, no.
It showed you images of women, how they looked then and what they look like now, and it was, I saw that one. It said this is the model off the front of the Ratt album cover. But the other one, do you remember a film called Crocodile Dundee? And there was a woman in that. Have you seen her now?
Yeah.
She, the woman she is now, she looks like a woman who's ate her. It's like it's not the same woman. It's just
because
mental.
they got married.
That's right. Yeah, they did. They did.
Linda Kozlovsky.
That's the one. Boom, Scott. Well done.
I just remember in the Crocodile Dundee, the first one, when she's leaning down to get the water out the creek. Oh, aye, that's a good scene.
Yeah, nice creek.
That's a lovely creek you have there.
So anyway, we never wait for Darcy's opinion of Ratt. Anyway, I want to make sure Mike hears this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a fan. Here in North America, they were huge. When Out of the Cellar came out, Round and Round, all that stuff. You know, I listened to. Honestly, that's why you don't see a lot of glam metal stuff that I show lately, because I grew up on all that stuff. I kind of, once I discovered thrash and beyond, a lot of those old albums are they're kind of burnt into my brain, and I don't need to pick them up very often. But yeah, I do like some Ratt. Yeah, I can't lie. I like those albums. They're great. Out of the Cellar, Invasion of Your Privacy. But yeah,
I'm sure it was it you who was saying that there was even a Ratt song used on one of the TV commercials in Canada?
No, that's actually
right?
that's lately. That's in the States. I think it's a Geico or something. They got rats in their house or something, and they used Round and Round type of thing. I don't know if you remember that video.
Okay.
So what we on now then?
Yeah, Ratt were a big deal. Ratt were a big deal in the UK as well. They travelled the pond really quite well. A lot of my friends who were big glam rock fans, they all loved Ratt. There's no doubt about it. They travelled well over here. There's no doubt. But anyway, it's next. It's S next. So as you can imagine, I'm going to change it up a little bit.
Mark, I didn't hear Darcy's opinion of Ratt there. Do you want to go over the whole thing? You're all right. I'll watch the video.
Mike will fill you in, yeah.
I'll watch the video back.
I'll fill you in.
So S, you're going from one extreme to the other. I've picked S. This is a band from California, a modern day, old school death metal band. I saw these guys. They were on tour. The end of 2019, I think it was, supporting Enforcer, Toxic Holocaust, and Municipal Waste. Let me get it out of that sleeve so you can see it. Can you see that good enough there?
Yeah.
Skeletal Remains. This is their third album. Oh, there we go. Yeah. That artwork just says it all straight away. I'm going to buy that just for the artwork. Yeah, Scott, you've had your R's. Old school, exactly. Yeah, it's a perfect. These are one of the sort of better bands in my opinion. They're managing to incorporate the old school sort of riffing with that sort of technical side that Death had, and the sort of aggression of bands like Pestilence. The vocalist, he's like a mix between John Tardy from Obituary and Martin Van Drunen from Acefix. He's just got a great voice. Andy would fucking hate it, no doubt about it. But the riffing, the music, there's very rarely fast sections. It's that sort of old school mid-paced, just as Darcy would call it, bone crushing. And it's one of those bands that, like that new Benediction album, I could say to someone who's never heard death metal before, listen to this, because it's a right nice gateway album. Because, like I say, it's got that heaviness, but it's got the sort of like the latter day death albums where it's almost not death metal. There's little moments in this that kind of set it apart. But sorry, Dragstar, I know you're glam all the way. But yeah, Skeletal Remains, Century Media.
Is that their newest one?
Not the newest one. No, I'm ashamed to say I've not got the newest one.
Is the newest one like a purple? Has it got like a purple?
Yeah,
Here's the new one.
There you go.
I've heard a bit of that, and it was really good.
I mean, it says on the hype sticker for fans of Death, Acefix, and Pestilence. That sums it up perfectly.
Yeah,
I
Mark,
think this is one of
I
those
agree
good
with
albums
Mark.
to help.
Sorry?
It's one of those albums to help drag people over to the dark side. I know I'm almost giving up on Andy, but Scott, I think Scott would enjoy that. I do.
Yeah, you managed to drag me over for sure. This is some killer Dan Seagrave artwork also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely caught my attention with this one, and I picked up the next one, which I showed there. I don't have their first two. I've never heard them, to be honest with you, and you guys know me over the past couple of years. I wasn't really a massive death metal fan, but yeah, this is my kind of death metal, to be honest with you. It's I wouldn't fully compare it to, not to contradict what Mark said, but it's even heavier than Latter Day Death. It's more like if you took Spiritual Healing and maybe one of the other Latter Death albums and kind of mixed them up a bit, you'd get maybe a lot of this. But the music is fantastic. Maybe you won't get the vocals. That's up to you. But good stuff.
I tried a link. I think probably Darcy sent me a link to it a bit ago, but I only give it 30 seconds because for new death metal, I just see it as the same as new thrash. I don't give a shit about it, to be honest. I just feel like them, the different with me. If I listen to like a modern death metal album versus one that came out in 1992, I just immediately know which one came out then, and I'm drawn to that. And the other, I just feel like I have no doubt that probably nowadays better musicians, but the vocals, there's no vocalists out there that have got like a distinct sound that I can grab hold of, to be honest. I just think, well, it's just, they all just sound very generic. And I think the same with all the new thrash bands. Everyone just wants to sound like the fucking first Death Angel album and just use a weird logo, you know, and I just can't get into new stuff like that. I don't know. Obviously, some things get there, and I mean, I bought the new Benediction, and I bought that Ultimus album last year, but that's a David Vincent singing on that, so I don't know. I should maybe give them a go, but you're not selling it to me with that mid-paced stuff either, because I feel like I get enough of that with Obituary, because that's only mid-paced, and I don't feel like I need much more of that, because it doesn't do a great deal for me. I'm drawn to Obituary because of John Tardy sounds fucking horrific, and it's dead distinct, so I love that, but musically, I find them pretty boring, to be honest. But I still like them because it's the nostalgia and the vocals. But so yeah, a modern day version of that I've got no sort of memories invested in or something like that. That's going to be a tough listen for me, to be honest.
I think what we need to do then is maybe in about 20 years show you these albums.
Oh yeah, get it back out.
Yeah,
I'll be all over that shit.
Oh, I remember my Contacts in Blood days. Oh, yeah, the nostalgia's there for me now. That's what I'll do, mate. 20 years time, mate. You're gonna fucking love this.
Yes. And I'll get it, and I'll probably get it for under 300.
Yeah, I'm out.
No surprise there, then. Check it out, Andy. Just for the musicianship of it, have a listen to the guitar. Just like, I always think, you know, I know I'm not going to convince you because the vocals are not the vocals.
The classic HM2.
The what? Sorry.
Was it the classic HM2 that you're always banging on about?
Yeah, this one's not so much that it has got a little bit, but not as much. Yeah, it's. Have you ever listened to Death? Have you ever listened to any of the later Death albums, Andy? Or does
no?
The vocals just put you off full stop?
No, I wasn't. It's not that it's. I find it horrendous and I can't possibly listen to it. I just not something I can listen to for a whole album.
Yeah,
I don't see the point in buying a whole CD of something where I don't mind one or two songs. I mean, I was surprised on when I did that contest and I got was it one of the Entombed songs? I don't know if it was a particularly mellow one that was maybe chosen, but it was one off Wolverine Blues, and I can't remember the name of the song now. But I really enjoyed that. I thought that was great. But then I thought, well, would I want a whole album of this? I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
So I think in small bursts, I might be all right.
Yeah.
Right, well, I've got tea, and I only got this album, and this band were new to me, and I actually got this album of him up there, our leader, and it's Tyrant.
Superb.
God, that font's small. Legions of the Dead from 1985, and I got 2 Tyrant albums, and I thought I would bring this up because not so much for the album, but for the style. I thought it would be something to talk about. And to me, I mean, I'd never heard of them, and it seems like there was this whole sort of style of American power metal that are like overtly, you know, metal as fuck type of thing. And they were kind of like spearheaded by Sabotage, who only just made it onto my radar. I'd never heard them back in the day, but I've seen them in the magazines and stuff. A band like Man of War, who were sort of doing that same thing. That was the kind of only band in the UK that were at the sort of top of that style of music. But then when I discovered YouTube and people were showing stuff like Sirith Ungol and Hex, you know, there's loads of these bands that are like, I mean, see if I can, where's the I mean, the guys are so metal. It's just absolutely obscene. And I can see why, even though I enjoy this, I can see why they never got anywhere, because we have a band in the UK, or did, made up of celebrities called Bad News, where everything was ridiculously overly metal. And this is kind of what these lot are, only they're taking it serious. Bad News were 4 famous comedians making a joke, but it's kind of in the same vein, really. And it's all very loud and bombastic, and it's like a lot of them albums, like Hex and stuff, that they seem to like, whoa, fucking hell, when you put them on, they seem very loud and like overly metal, you know. But I do enjoy that, what I've heard. But there's a whole world out there that I've just sort of peeked into and seen, and they never ever got over here. These bands, none of them were successful. Like I said, Sabotage were like at the top of the pile. Manowar, if you want to throw them in with that, which they don't necessarily fit, I don't think. But that was another one. But these bands never got anywhere. So they're all unknown. But they are good. What I've heard, the different ones are good. But I can see now that the kind of, you can listen back 35 years later and it doesn't matter. But they were always behind the curve. They were always probably quite embarrassing. And I can imagine, you know, the 16-year-old me would have just went, oh, fucking no way. I couldn't possibly. But then, you know, 30 odd years later, you're just like, well, yeah, you just see it for what it is, you know. I don't know if anyone's, I know obviously Andy knows about them, but I don't know if anyone else does.
I've heard of Tyrant. They've been shown quite a lot in the VC recently. I don't know if I've had a new album out or
yeah, I think they have.
Or if new reissues have been released, but
it's very good as well.
I've never listened to.
Oh, you should. Do you like Manowar, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like these guys. I mean, they're not the same. I mean, this is the other one. I'll pull this one out because this guy here, you're talking about Bad News, but he looks Spinal Tap.
Hmm.
I mean,
yeah, they look unbelievable, don't they?
Yeah, and that would put me off as well as a teenager. But now, I lap this stuff up now. It's just,
Yeah,
stuff.
Like back in the day when they looked like that, it's like no one would have took them serious. But now, when you look at that, you think that's fucking metal, right?
Yeah, you don't dress like that, and you're not metal. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
They totally passed me by too. Like they weren't. I wouldn't say they were massive in Canada, that's for sure. But I see a lot of love for their newest album. I think what had come out last year, possibly. Yeah, but kind of passed me by too.
Okay.
That one's from 1985, and the one Andy's just shown there that he sent me as well, that's from 87.
And then I think they had a comeback album last year or the year before.
Yeah, Liam the Death Doom Metalhead, that was his favourite album from last year, or it was in his top list anyway. But I don't know, I'd never heard of him until recently, and it was only through looking on Hell's Headbangers for a couple, and they had like the 10 CDs for $50 deal, and I saw it there, and it straight away it sort of piqued my interest, because when I looked at him, and that's what I thought they look as metal as Manowar do. Yeah. And then I found out Andy had bought it, so that was the first I'd heard, and I checked it out, and yeah, I think if you're into bands that of that style that just ooze heavy metal, then you're gonna like them. They were.
It's kind like someone's just said in the comments there. Omen, that's another one.
Yeah.
Omen. They're all very much like that style, but they're all loud as fucking, like, you know. I don't know what fucking equipment they were using, but they are extremely loud.
See, they like in the comments, it was Omen and Hellstar. To me, Omen and Hellstar, I heard of those back in the day, both of them, especially, you know, living here in Canada. But yeah, for whatever reason, Tyrant just kind of over my head or just passed me by. But
Where are they from?
I think they're from Texas or somewhere.
Oh, they are American, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't see that in like Lancashire, could you? Or
Yeah, they'd definitely not get away with walking down Brighton Beach dressed like that, would they?
you'd have got your head kicked in Cardiff if you looked like that. I promise you.
or
Yeah.
if you look like Bruce Dickinson, like you.
Yeah.
What if you don't look like Bruce? I think you look like Bruce Dickinson. That is, yeah, that's. Who invited him?
Yeah. Get those hockey socks off.
I'm still, yeah. Spandex and hockey socks. Wow.
Football socks.
I can't say fuck all.
And there's me worried
If
about wearing
I go to
cowboy
a
boots.
party, I wear a skirt. So gotta love a kilt.
He was talking about Liege Lord earlier. You, Scotty. There you
Yeah.
go. They're all in good company.
What?
Agent Steele, yeah. Thomas is saying there. Agent Steele were another one that got over here. Me and Dragster went to see them years ago, didn't we? They were a band that got over here, like well known and stuff, but fucking Omen and Tyrant and Liege Lord and all. There's like a whole scene that I know naught about.
Yeah, Omen. I'd never heard of Omen until I got involved in the VC. Agent Steele, yeah, I think Agent Steele managed to make it over here. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just the record that, like, it was under one flag, I think, in the UK.
I think they were opening. I think the two had been Overkill. I think they opened for Overkill.
Okay. Cool. Tyrant or Californian, same as Omen.
I have to go to the toilet for an old man's piss.
I'm gonna look at picking some up by then, because ever since I saw Andy show it and Mike, it's kind of been on my radar to check out.
Well, Mike's gone. One of the reasons why he got them was I picked them up because these were all on the Hell's Headbanger, when they were doing that.
I'm gonna get a refill.
They were doing that 10 for $50 or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was some more stuff I wanted, but I didn't have enough for a second order. And Mike said he wanted these, so I thought I'd pick them up. But then I picked up all the Haunt albums on CD because they're just not available in the UK.
Yeah.
With a view to keeping a few myself. And then I picked up doubles of a couple of the latest ones, stuck them on eBay and thought, easy money. Took 2.5 months to sell them, but
Really?
finally got double what I paid for them. And they all went the same week in the end on eBay, so don't know what was happening. But
I bought those Haunt albums from Hell's Headbangers as well, because I think they were it worked out at like $5 a piece, and you can't find their stuff over in the UK cheap, can you, at all?
Trouble is,
it's getting to the point where you can't find anything cheap here now.
I know.
All right.
£8 postage from Listenable Records for that fucking new reissue of Immolation Dawn of Possession CD. It was 13 quid. I thought, oh, that's all right, I'll buy that. And then £8 post for a CD.
Where from?
Listenable Records.
No, was that within the UK or?
No, the French.
French. Oh, that's a lot from.
Yeah.
I love Bandcamp. I love buying stuff off Bandcamp. You know it's going direct to the band. I know Bandcamp take a cut, but it goes direct to the band. But fucking hell, some of the postage. I was looking at an album the other day. The album was $20, so it worked out about like £14, and the postage was £17.
Yeah,
so it just completely kills the deal instantly.
That's the way it was for Hammerheart Records to Canada. The postage is steep, but that's one of the best service I've ever had in my life. It was here from the Netherlands to Canada within 10 days is remarkable.
Yeah, that's impressive. That.
Yeah, it was. I remember them being rapid with their postage.
Yeah.
I think obviously I'm closer, but I think it was maybe 3 days. from
Yeah.
ordering.
I think
Yeah,
I think
10
with
days.
labels like that, you can usually bulk a few things up together to make that postage sort of, you can kind of lose the postage in the amount you pick up. But Bandcamp, I think, and even sometimes even email a band to say, is there no way you can get it to me any cheaper than that? I want to buy it and I want to support you, but I'm not willing. If your album's £10 and it's 20 quid postage, it kind of just puts a real damper on it, doesn't it?
Darcy, Thomas here is offering to buy all the Hammer Heart stuff for you, get it in, and then send it on.
What a
Oh,
guy.
yeah. I'm on board. Okay.
Thomas, it's a top bloke. Great offer. Thank you for doing that. really appreciate that.
So hey, you guys had mentioned this haunt stuff. I don't know if you remember the story where I told you, obviously, I had that post office box that's 15 minutes away from me. I cross the border, I go there. I've sent stuff to you guys. It's way faster there. So anyways, so for almost a year now, since COVID fucked everything up, I haven't been able to go there. So my wife's friend, she's in a what you would call essential service business. So she was able to go down there, and I had a couple haunt records just sitting there literally for a year or whatever, 10 months. So she couldn't bring them over, but what she did is she sent them on to me from there to Canada, whereas it would take me 15 minutes to go pick them up. It's now on to 3 weeks, and I still haven't seen them yet. It's ridiculous.
God's sake.
Ridiculous.
By the time they get to you, it'll have been that long. They'll actually be haunted.
Yeah.
I sent out 2 LPs to it was Chris Profi. He won my contest. I sent out 2 LPs, and I said to him up front, listen, I'm going to try the real snail mail option from the Royal Mail here, and it was £9.50. It would have been nearly 20 quid otherwise to send 2 records, just normal airmail. So I said, I'm going to go for this service because I'm interested to see how long it's going to take. Because I think you did something similar, Darcy. You sent something over to Scott using the snail mail to just see what happened, and it said it would take between 4 to 8 weeks, and it took about a week and a half.
Yeah.
It was quicker than I went before, so that's the way forward.
Yeah, I did a little test. I sent Scott's what they would call surface mail or something, kind of snail mail.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna send yours. I'm gonna spend a little bit more on you, not because I don't love Scott, any less or more. Look at that lip. Pick that lip up. Anyways, it's basically the same shit, different pile. Yeah.
Right,
What are we on? You?
Yeah, that's you.
You is me. Okay. Well, I only have maybe 3 choices of you in my collection. And if you guys were betting guys and you knew kind of what groove I've been in lately with the the accept and stuff like that, you kind of know what's coming. So no surprise there. But I'm going to show you the 13th studio album from U.D.O. I was lucky enough to pick this up on vinyl. It came up on our Amazon Canada for $21 Canadian. That convert that to your, what is that, 10 quid?
Something like that. Yeah, cheap as chips.
Anyways, this is the 13th studio album from U.D.O. I know a lot of people always call it U.D.O, but it actually is U.D.O, the band, fronted by Udo Dirksnyder, formerly of Accept. You guys know this guy. So this is the 13th studio album, Rev Raptor. And if you're familiar with some Accept, this is the last one to feature original drummer from Accept, Stefan Kaufman, on guitar. He came on board in, I think, 1997 to join his buddy Udo on guitar. And just another solid album. And, similar to what I showed with Primal Fear. You're not getting album of the year here. I won't lie to you. It's just solid, good metal. There's some I'm sure you guys are familiar when you grab an album and you have let's say when English is not your native language, converting words or just pronunciations of words, and obviously U.D.O is German. I love that kind of accent in a song where you can pick up on certain words and things like that. But I've always been a fan of U.D.O's vocals, taking nothing away from the new version of Accept. I love those guys too, but this is definitely a solid album. I think a couple of great songs were Leatherhead, I Give As Good As I Get, True Born Winners. So I'm not sure where you guys are at with U.D.O. I know Andy's picked up Animal House and Mean Machine, I think, and even what else?
It was
Faceless World.
Faceless World. Yeah, just two of them: Animal House and Faceless World. Very good.
If I was doing any type of ranking, where would this one fall? Kind of middle of the pack, I'd say. Just another solid effort.
I think
U.D.O. You guys have heard this one. I think
U.D.O's. U.D.O is solid stuff. The first one I picked up, actually, I found it in a shop. It was Animal House. I've now got the first four. But the thing that really puts me off collecting any more is the prices of the albums over here. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I always kind of the albums that always come up are, is it Steamhammer?
Steel Hammer or
Steel
Hammer. Factory.
Yeah, those always come up, and I mean, they're 40 quid. And I'm like, I'm not paying 40 quid for that. But although I'd love to get the albums, they're extortionate. So it's always the kind of the 80s going into the 90s. I think I've got up to Time Bomb, and those first four are awesome.
Yeah, Bev just picked up Time Bomb, and you can't find those here either. Just so you know, those are what I just showed you is not a common occurrence whatsoever.
I mean, they're just not easy to get, and when you do find them, they're super expensive. So,
has he been on the same label all the time?
They've been on AFM Records for past 8 albums at least. AFM's a great label too. I mean, Iron Savior.
Could probably do with a reissue of all that then, because I've never even seen anything in person.
They definitely need some reissues.
Yeah,
I've never even seen anything in person at all. I've never heard a note.
I only got those 2 albums together because they were a bundle, and I got them for a great price. If you just obviously on eBay dividing the price by 2, it worked out really well. And the one Bev showed, I can't remember what it was, but she was
was it Time Bomb?
From 1993 or something, and any original vinyl from like 92, 93 is going to be pretty rare, difficult to get hold of. So probably does need, yeah. Are there no reissues then, Darcy? Is that the
not of this one. There were some reissues, some 40th, what were they, 20th anniversary reissues, but I don't think they were ever reissued on vinyl though. I really don't know.
CD. Those first 4 are a must to listen to though.
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm late to the Accept party, as you well know. And I've seen you, Darcy, showing them, and I'd seen Andy show them. So I've been aware of them probably as long as I have been aware and kind of taken proper notice of Accept. But yeah, like Mike said, I just don't see it anywhere. I don't see it available. If you do see it on eBay, even the CDs are touching 20 quid a piece. I don't know if it's like a limited press that AFM did for our albums, but they're hard to find. Accept albums hold the money quite well because of a popular band, but yeah, I just don't see any of that U.D.O, and I'd like to, because what snippets I've heard of it, it's very good. Really enjoy it.
There seems to be like a thing with some German stuff, like Destruction and Sodom. They're all expensive to pick up, aren't they? They all hold the price. they just didn't do like a great job. Some of these companies of putting these bands in the UK, like making them available.
Mm.
You know.
Well, half the problem with, you know, maybe not with U.D.O, but half of this other shit, they've been on multiple labels, and it's just you know, it's hell on earth. They're probably on 4 or 5 labels. They can't, you know, they can't bring things together, and this guy's reissuing this, and you know, you know, that part sucks. But anyways, here in Canada, anything on AFM Records, if you don't get it a good price on pre-order, you're looking at $24 Canadian for a CD, which was quite high. You know what? I don't know what that is. Probably about what, 13 quid for a CD.
Yeah. But the thing is, with some of those bands weren't getting over to the UK because the UK was always a bastard to get to. I mean, bands have to fly or get on a ferry, whereas if you're a German band and you've got all those countries around you, well, you can just drive to and play. It's cheaper to do all that shit. It's just the same way with the way that the UK thrash bands didn't get anything because they actually had to leave the country to get any recognition, and the labels just weren't going to pay for it. They would tag them on maybe one of the US bands when they came over, and they would be a support band. But it was just there, even keep the cost down for those bands because they didn't have to bring a US bands coming over here, thrash bands especially. They didn't have to come up with a support band to bring with them and then take them everywhere. They would just tag on one of the UK bands because it was like a cheap alternative to have at the end. So it didn't surprise me, certainly, to as the bottom was falling out of metal at the end of the 80s, early 90s, that you know, they just couldn't be bossed with the UK.
You know, like a band like you know, U.D.O, Gravedigger, bands like that. You know, they put out a lot of great material throughout the 90s, but you know, they never got that recognition. I mean, it was just good, solid metal. Like I said before, it's not album of the year. It's not something you know, you're you know, it's not gonna blow your mind or anything. It's just good, solid metal is all it is. And I've always, of course, I've always loved U.D.O since, you know, the day I heard Balls to the Wall, and then, you know, a backtrack to a classic like Restless and Wild to me is it's essential metal. Just you know, just the word metal. It's just it's a must-have in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, like I know a lot of you guys have Animal House, and Animal House, for all intents and purposes, really was the next Accept album that they kind of said, here you go, U.D.O, you're going to move on. You can have all this material. We're going to write some new stuff with David Reese, and we're going to kind of feel out that process and see what happens. And, you know, we know how that all went, but definitely check out some U.D.O if you know, if you're a fan of Accept and bands like that.
Yeah, Mike needs to check U.D.O out.
Check out Animal House, Mike. You'll love Animal House. Is awesome.
Yeah, I love Faceless World as well.
Little on the lighter side. It's a little on the lighter side, but it's
it's a bit lighter. But I think it kind of made an impression because I was expecting something different, and when I did finally hear Faceless World, I thought it was great.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. Definitely a lot lighter, definitely a lot more commercial sounding than Animal House. But so I got these.
It's not a bad thing though.
And no, it's not. It's not. And I really enjoyed it.
You got to check out. Try to find this one. Try to find Solid. Good album, or this one's fantastic. This is called No Limits, and these are all like 90, 98. Yeah, that one was like 90, 97, and 98. You know, and that's when they're you know, they're pumping out an album every year, every 2 years type of stuff. And yeah, just you kind of know what to expect, but it doesn't make it a bad album.
No.
The time could be right, Mike, because you're on a bit of an accept kick at the moment.
That's true. Well, I am, but I'm moving into an AC/DC one at the minute. There'll be an AC/DC. There'll be an AC/DC ranking video coming within the next month, I would suspect.
Why is Scott and Mike even friends?
I'm mentally thumbing your video
You
down
know,
already.
Scott loves Ratt, and Mike hates Ratt, and Mike loves AC/DC, and Scott hates AC/DC.
Yeah, but
because we connect on a deeper level.
That's right. Because I tell you what, it's purely sexual.
Oh no.
Well, next time we go and see him, Mike, you can share a room with Scott. I'll get my own.
I'm fucking scared. I think I'm getting groomed.
Dirty old man.
Yeah.
Dirty.
What's next?
Oh, I think we just need to move on. Whatever's next.
Yeah. What are we on? V?
V.
Yeah, V.
That's me. I have gone for
some Venom. You got some Venom?
New wave of British heavy metal.
Venom.
Not Venom.
He done the Welsh voice there as well, didn't he?
British heavy metal?
Oh,
it's brilliant.
I'll have to do a little bit of the Welsh accent because we did the English and the rugby today, and it was
oh yes.
fantastic. Anyway, I've gone for Vardis and their debut album, 100 Miles an Hour, which is a bold move by Vardis because their first album is a live album with a guaranteed no overdubs, which is obviously very, very big back then because just about every live album that came out, whether people liked it or not, they'd go, "Oh, it's all overdubs, isn't it?" It was like Judas Priest is supposed to be all overdubs, and all these albums that people come out and say it's all overdubs. I think, well, I don't care because I like the sound of the album. Maybe the content is actually shit, and they had to put the overdubs to make it to be the classic album that it is today. But this one, it comes with a guarantee and no overdubs. 11 tracks on the debut album. It's fantastic. And poster as well. Going forward. So they went all out on the first release. And if you don't know Vardis, I mean, it is classic new wave of British heavy metal sound. And I know lots of different bands have different in the new wave of British heavy metal. But Vardis have they're a power trio. This guy here, Steve Zodiac, he's the brains behind it, and it's just really cool. I mean, if you're not on Vardis, we'll definitely check them out. They didn't do that much. I think they started off as Quo Vardis, if I believe. They were a little bit more melodic, but these are certainly three guys having a fucking marvelous time playing metal, and I absolutely love this album. Definitely worth checking out.
Sorry, Andy, what year is that from?
This is 80. It's either 80 or 81. Is it early? 80.
Is that a reissue then?
No. This is
And they put a poster in back then, eh?
Yeah, and it's
unusual, that, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a live album as well for
and that's in good nick as well. Looking at that.
Oh yeah, that's I can't remember where I actually found that one now, but it was well worth the dollars.
So, and it's been called 100 Mile an Hour in its traditional heavy metal. Is it faster than normal traditional heavy metal?
It's a little bit. It's kind of, but the thing is though, even bands like Venom are considered part of like the new wave of British heavy metal, and even though they were doing a bit. I mean, Raven as well weren't didn't sound like Saxon. Saxon were mid-paced, build it up, chuggy, whereas Raven were full on in your face. And Vardis were kind of probably somewhere between Saxon and Raven, I guess. We got this one as well. It was quite a good one. The World's Insane.
They should have called themselves Raxon then.
£1.99 for that.
Wow.
Bargain.
Was that a HMV label?
It is. That's a HMV sticker, the old HMV sticker.
But yeah, really, really good. Say 3-piece, so there's only so much, I guess, depth of the sound you get when there's 3 guys rather than
Are they British?
Are they from the UK? Those guys?
Yeah.
Honestly, I heard the name, but I've never heard them. And for some strange reason, that band name is kind of a turnoff to me. I don't know. It's just not a real super catchy name, Vardis. It sounds like some kind of, I don't know, drug or something, some kind of pill. Yeah, I got a big headache. I'm going to take a Vardis.
It'll get rid of the headache in 100 mile an hour.
And you know what? We've all fallen for that. Oh, I can't get past the name of stuff of a band. I'm drawing a blank now that we're live, but I have never really heard, honestly, one song from Vardis. I wouldn't even know where to start.
I think there's not that much to find, so it's easy to start. Anything.
No, I think I've actually seen more Vardis. Like if you go on on eBay and stuff, I always see Vardis stuff. But I mean, like Darcy said, Vardis doesn't say anything to me. That just says keep scrolling.
Yeah, it doesn't really give you there's not even a clue.
Vardis a lot, and I did hear something online that is. It's a bit more. I think it's a little bit more 70s. Melodic.
I was going to say, Andy, there's a bit of boogie woogie in that album, isn't there?
No,
do you not think?
Yeah, maybe, but they are a band that was formed in the 70s, so they've got their roots in there. But,
it's a good album. I had it ages ago, and I've only heard it a couple of times, and I enjoyed it. But there was a bit of I thought there was a bit of sort of boogie woogie type of guitars in it, but I still enjoyed it.
No, it's not full on though. I understand where you're coming from, but I wouldn't.
I just don't. I don't want to hear Mike say that a boogie woogie again. I don't like it. Vardis doesn't give you a clue really about what style, or there could be anything, couldn't be Vardis? That could be a prog rock band. That could be a thrash band.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't give you a clue, does it? Thomas, take care.
Oh, Thomas is going, and my next pick is from the Netherlands.
Oh,
come on, come back, Thomas.
Give us 5 minutes, Thomas. Do it. Here we go. Hold on, rapid weight gain. It happens. There you go. Leave that on for Darcy.
Yeah.
There's the side effects.
Oh, okay.
Take it at your own risk.
although if you headbang responsibly, you could actually end up losing weight. So
yeah, might split your Vardis in half.
Thank you.
I've just pulled my Vardis. Oh god, that's one beer.
That's your wife's job to pull your Vardis.
That's what you say to the wife, right?
That's why we keep our records in sleeves.
And make sure you pull it. And make sure you pull it 100 mile an hour.
Put my Vardis in your TARDIS.
That's my Vardis, and I'll wash it as fast as I want to.
I never expected Vardis to go in that direction, but then
I nearly spat me Bombardier out everywhere.
Okay, do they have a couple songs you can recommend that I can write down, check out?
Well, 100 miles per hour itself is good.
Vardis in my TARDIS. That's the quote. That's the quote of the live stream. That
maybe off the next studio album, Darcy. Police Patrol. Police Patrol. I probably know this one better, to be honest with you. The World is Insane. The World's Insane itself. Police Patrol. Power Underfoot. It's it's all good. It's
Okay.
It's a new wave of British heavy metal album. The whole album is probably no more than like 35 minutes long. So
Worth checking
Okay.
out.
I'm going to take 2 Vardis and I'll call you in the morning.
yeah. If oh, W.
Oh God! Right, I'm going to tell you about an album I pretty much know nothing about. So,
It's a good start.
well, I was looking through my W's and I thought I could pick them, but I think we've already done them, and I could pick this one, but that's a bit boring. So I just thought I'd pick the second boring one.
Is this maybe on a par with the Jam?
It's a good album, but this is World War III.
Oh, I like that album. That's a great
I
pick.
just said that. I said it's good. But this is like a one and done band. I think they're from Pennsylvania. But yeah, I picked this up. I found this in the wild. Oh well, there you go.
Oh, here we go.
Never heard of it.
So it's basically, I would say it's metal, but it's like bordering hard rock and metal. I'd say you've got these kind of metal elements, but I would say it's more a hard rock album. But it is a really decent album. It's only 7 tracks, so it's pretty short, but it's actually decent. And I think looking at that cover, you wouldn't think of that as like a kind of hard rock metal album. And there's this weird silhouette of a pregnant woman here. That's just bizarre.
She looks like she's taking a picture of Vardis.
Yeah, it's like she's looks like she's taking it up the Vardis.
Up the TARDIS.
But it's on Axe Killer Records. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a one and done band, so they didn't really do much after this. But if you've not heard this album or you see it in the wild, definitely give it a go, because it's but it's a really good, decent album. So there we go. Now, what I was going to say is, it's again one of these bands. It's not going to blow you away, but if you see it, it's definitely worth the pickup because it's a really, really good album. So here we go. I can't breathe.
Oh, your heart, man. Right.
Well, I've never heard of it. I can't contribute anything there, I'm afraid.
I never heard the word Scott said after that.
I tried on camera.
The sound of myself crying in my own head.
Do you know what I thought was, as soon as I actually do know that album, it's obviously the famous Hammer brothers that are on here. Gary with his great hair.
That's what my hair would look like if I tried to.
And Dan, who's got the Mark G with a C look. Well, Gary, I reckon, is the old one because Gary's got the cool nickname, Gary Sledgehammer. Dan, you haven't got one.
Dan should have had Dan Yamhammer.
All right, Pinhammer.
Yeah,
Toffee. Dan the Toffee Hammer.
No, I agree. I think it's a good album. It's not a fantastic album. It's a great album to have in your collection and pull out occasionally. Because I'm looking at it now, and I can't actually remember what it sounds like, but I know when I play it, I enjoy it. Yeah. It's one of those ones that you just think like, oh god, I've not heard that one for ages. Stick it on, yeah, that's really, really good. Put it back on the shelf, and then forget I've got it until someone pulls it out. So
I think if I saw that on the shelf, I'd think that was like a soundtrack to a movie.
Yeah, I mean, the
cover not much of a logo there.
No, but yeah, definitely worth it. I mean, I can't see the CD being cheap in the slightest, but
no.
I mean, you can pick this up for like a £5.
Yeah,
right.
It's cheap.
So I mean, it's cheap, but if you do see it, it's well worth it. Anyway,
right. What's next? Is it Y?
No.
No, it's X.
That's me. We're on.
I'm going for
I'm going for that.
So, finally, it's X, gentlemen. What do you think I'm going to pick for X? I've got a great story to tell you.
Oh, God.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put you through it again. Oh, I'm just trying to see through my tear-stained eyes.
Take
Take
care.
care, guys. This is another band from California, and another album with Dan Seagrave artwork. And I was introduced to these by Liam, the Death Doom Metalhead. And I hope I'm going to say it right. But this band is called Shibalba. And they are sort of Mexican-speaking American bands. All the songs are in Spanish, if you can see there. They started off life, I believe, as like a hardcore band. I'll show you the gatefold there. You can see the dudes. But this album, Dancing, I mean, look at that album artwork.
Yeah.
That draws you straight away. Great logo, great album artwork. This is it's death metal. It's as simple as that. Doomy death metal. It's got that sort of bolt thrower feel to it. It's got little moments where it's a bit quicker. There's the odd sort of blast beat in there. Really, really deep vocals, quite deep in the mix. But it's absolutely awesome. It's a riff fest, an absolute riff fest. And there's not many albums that come out that have Dan Seagrave artwork that I don't want to check out. You know, I always think it's a sign of a good album. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. I'd never heard of him until Liam pointed him out to me. But this album is a cracker. It's heavy, riffy, crunchy, doomy, deathy. It's wonderful. Shibalba.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of
Horrific name.
I don't know what that means. I should have done my research and found out what that means. But name of the album's Anos en Infierno. Like I say, all in Spanish. But
That's
yeah,
quite
brilliant.
interesting. Liam saying the album before is more hardcore thrash.
Yeah, I mean that's how they started off as a hardcore sort of, and I think as they've gone on from album to album, they've kind of developed the sound. They've gone from hardcore to thrash to, I mean, that one's just you couldn't say it's anything other than death metal. You know, it's full of the heavy riffs. It's a cracker, a real cracker, and one that I don't really see a lot. I've only ever seen Liam talk about it. I've not seen anybody else mention it at all.
So they sing in Spanish too?
They do, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I kind of like that actually.
Or was it Mexican American? I think you described it, did you not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to say that really, I suppose, because it says they're from California, but the names are like Nathan Rebelido and Brian Ortiz, and if you look at them, you know, they look Mexican.
They look Mexican there.
Yeah. But it says that they're from California.
Must be the sombreros.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a brilliant band.
What year did that album come out?
Good question. 2020.
Oh wow.
You know, how old is Dan Seagrave? He's been going forever, has he not?
He has, yeah. I mean, he did the artwork for Left Hand Path and Dismember back in the late 80s.
Early 50s or something, wasn't he?
He's got to be, yeah. He's got to
It
be.
was only a student when he done them first death metal albums.
Yeah. I mean, that's a blinding cover. Look at that.
Looks like someone set fire to a Toblerone.
Here we go. Here we go. Someone far more intelligent than us,
Oh, here we go.
or somebody who's got Google.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Brendan von Google.
Yeah, Von Google, thank you.
Superb. Yeah, that I should have done that. I should have done that first, really. But
Well, we don't need it with the
with our marvelous audience.
our marvelous audience.
That's a pretty good name then. For the Mayan underworld. Mayan, that's Mexican, isn't it?
You know what, guys? Yeah. But I would have never ever heard of that band in my life. If it wasn't for what we're doing here. So I'm definitely going to check them out for sure.
I know you're a fan of Bolt Thrower, Darcy, so I think you'd like that.
Yeah, I love Bolt Thrower, so I'll definitely check them out.
And I know Mike likes Bolt Thrower, but I do fear Shibalba might be a little bit too modern for Mike.
The not singing in English might just spoil it for me, to be honest. I don't mind people doing that on one song or whatever, but I don't think I could stomach a whole album of, Pedro language.
I'd be interested in checking out.
Fucking hell.
This more hardcore.
Girlfriend's just messaged that her dad's just died.
Oh, shit, mate.
Oh.
But never mind.
I
don't suppose I realised what I was saying. I was reading the message that came in.
Shit.
But none of you lot know him, and no one watching knows him. But that's that. Should we move on to why?
You're right. Do you need to head off, Mike? Are you right?
No, I'll be all right. I'll get mine. I'll get mine done.
Send our best wishes to Julie, though, please.
I'll get mine done, and then I might head off. That there is an album. It's self-released, and it's black metal, and it's a good mixture. The band are called Yorg Moth from the Netherlands. Mark, the Wandering Souls webzine, sent me that a couple of weeks ago, and it is from 2000. And I've got the CD, and actually, I was refreshing my memory. It's from 2007, but it's not on a label. So if you want it, he might be the man to see. I don't know if he's got more of them or whatever, or he can get them, whether he's a friend of the band or whatever. But for my ears, that was a good mixture of Dark Throne and Immortal. You've got the sort of basic, not trying to be too atmospheric sort of side of where Dark Throne comes in, and then you've got the vocals that are more like Abbott out of Immortal, but it doesn't push on fully into Popeye mode. It stops short of that. It's a really good listen, and I can't understand why they didn't get a proper release. One listen through, and you're like, yeah, that's automatically good. But yeah, I know I'm probably only looking at Mark here about this, but yeah, that's what that is anyway. Yorg Moth.
Yorg Moth. Spell that out for us.
YAWGMOTH, and the album's called Macabre. And I'd never heard of them. But like I say, Mark might be your best source for that one. Because when I entered that into Discogs, there was like 4 of them or something like that.
Wow. I know I'm not a massive authority at all on black metal, but I know from watching Mark at Wandering Souls that the Dutch black metal scene's quite large, quite there's a lot of bands coming from there who are really good, and maybe that's one of those that's kind of got lost in that plethora of that style of bands. I've never heard of them before, and to be honest, that album artwork doesn't sort of look that black metal either, does it? You know,
No.
it's they don't tend to go for much colour, but
I actually looked on Metal Archives, and there was there's a review that gives you 84%, which I thought, yeah, that's probably about right. And then I read the review. You should read the review on Metal Archives. The guy says it better than I ever could. But it really, when I was reading it, I thought, yeah, I'll back every word of that. It doesn't try to be something fancy, something to, like a lot of these bands get tied up with trying to create an atmosphere and all that. It's not like that at all. It's just good, basic black metal. Like I said, more like Dark Throne musically, but more like Immortal vocally. It's a cracker.
Well, I've just went and bought my first black metal album in the last couple of days.
Wow.
So I might check it out.
Let's see it.
Eh?
Let's see it.
Not here yet.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to wait for my next update, but it's a brilliant album, and the way you just described that album, I'm going to check that album out.
So what inspired you to go down the black metal route, Scott?
What's that?
What inspired you to go down the black metal route?
Well, I just thought it's just something I've not really ever properly dived into, really. And I've heard obviously bits and pieces of black metal, and I've always really liked the music. It's more like the vocals that have put me off. So I just thought, if I take a bit of time with it, kind of work through a couple of albums, and I'll see what happens. And there's definitely maybe 4 or 5 albums that I'm going to pick up. But the one that I picked up, I've just been listening to non-stop because I just thought it's absolutely brilliant. So that's the one on its way. So
I think still too, I think black metal after death metal, maybe black metal is the natural progression. Because even for me, like years ago, if you would have said I love the band Death, I would have said, no, you're fucking kidding. No, I don't. But now I love them, and I think it just goes back to that saying, don't knock it until you've tried it, because there is some good stuff, and there is vocals that, I'm not totally fond of, but the music absolutely it's bone crushing, man. It is awesome.
Some of the black metal bands now, the music is unbelievably melodic. Like when black metal, I first heard it sort of come along, and it was all about the rawness and the bleakness, and it kind of evoked it scared you when you listened to it. You thought, fucking hell, this is it's serious. And there was the whole thing going on in Norway with the church burnings and all that, and the whole scene was really scary and bleak and horrible. Now kind of black metal for me has changed so much, and there's a couple of albums I've got, and they're just, if you took away that harsh distorted guitar and that screamy vocals and played it acoustically, it's something that I'd be quite interested to hear if it was done acoustically. It's absolutely beautiful, some of it. Really, really catchy.
I mean, the one I got, I would probably call it, not that I'm massive into black metal, but I think the one that I got, you'd probably call it diet black metal. I mean, it's a black metal band, but it's probably not. It's definitely not as raw as you'd expect from the early 90s. It's it's an album that's been released in the last 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
So, but you never know. I mean, you've always got to start somewhere, so you never know where it's going to go.
It's I mean, I say I don't like death metal. I don't like black metal. There are one or two things, no doubt, I would find palatable. The only thing that I've got in my collection that is remotely black metal, and this is more sort of atmospheric, and it's this one. And I got this as a make weight in a Hell's Headbanger order one time. This is band called Zeminal. It's not my Z, so I can use it, or Z. Nictor, and it's a one-man black metal Zeminal black metal project. And there are bits on this that I really like, but the things I think I really like in it probably aren't anywhere near traditional black metal at all. It's quite, it is very atmospheric in times, and it's not too growly. And in fact, there are parts that don't have a lot of vocals on it at all. So the music itself is pretty good. But that's the closest I've got.
Yeah.
Mike, I got a question for you. Do you have an easier time with newer black metal versus newer anything? Like, okay. Oh, is cattle decapitation, are they black metal?
No,
they're not. Okay.
No, they're like a death metal with a bit of grind mixed in, I suppose. They're really modern, and I don't mind them because Lado throws in a different style. He has this like banshee type of voice that he uses sometimes, and it's really awesome. And then the musicianship with them guys is off the fucking scale. They're just ridiculous. But because he's got that, he does this traditional guttural vocals, but then he goes into this banshee thing. But and it's awesome. But it kind of becomes a one-trick pony for me. And every song, you kind of know what's coming and when it's going to come and stuff like that. And I was really into them for a little bit with that 2015 album came out. And I thought, oh yeah, I've found a modern, really heavy band that I like. But when I heard the next album, and so it just become like a pattern, and I thought they've got such a template that they stick to. And fair enough, it's a little bit of an unusual template, but you still get used to it.
So if you could recommend one modern day death metal, black metal band, what comes to mind? What do you suggest?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Sirith Gorga. This is like, but they're doing second wave of black metal, but this is a 2016 album or something like that, but they're doing the second wave of black metal. I don't tend to be overly keen on the symphonic stuff. I don't mind some, like I've got a Dimmu album from 2001, one with the naked woman on, and I quite like that. But when they get too symphonic, it loses me. I prefer the second wave stuff that's and usually them type of albums are like, they're so fucking terrifying. You don't want to play them in the dark. They're horrible. They're really. But if you go into it, going right, what's this guy singing about? Well, fucking forget it. Just see it as another instrument. Otherwise, you'll never get your head around it. But a lot of the like Dark Throne and that, you listen to it, and there's a lot of like Motorhead in there.
There is, yeah. I think with black metal, it's almost a black hole with black metal. It's vast, it's huge. The way black metal is now, there's melodic black metal, there's blackened death metal, there's folk black metal. It's not just the sort of one genre anymore. And
God,
I suppose it depends what kind of black metal. If you, I mean, I always think of Blazing a Northern Sky by Dark Throne after releasing the first album, and that came out. That was like, that's kind of like in my mind what black metal was. It was like they'd gone from a death metal band to a black metal band, and it was a sort of the sort of rolling rhythms, and the sort of that guitar. But now black metal's not it's not the same beast anymore. You know, it's some of these folky black metal bands. You wouldn't even associate the two styles. They're both classed as black metal, but they're so far apart. You listen to the first Immortal album, the first Emperor album, that style of black metal it's raw, and that, you know, it's abrasive, and like Mike said, you listen to that in the dark and it's scary. You know what I mean? You ain't going to go downstairs after that. But modern day black metal is so melodic. It's almost beautiful. You know, as much as it's kind of still harsh, it's so different. But some good suggestions. I know Daniel just said Wormwood. They're worth checking out. A band called Wormwood.
Bands like later, like Sons of Northern Darkness, Immortal album. That's an easy listen. Satiricon is an easy listen. That one with I can't remember the name of it. But it's got like a bird splayed out on the cover. There's some entry level black metal, and to be quite honest, that's for the most part, because even Dark Throne really is probably seen as entry level, just purely because of the age of it. Even though, I don't know, it's like what people say about Venom being black metal and stuff. The jump from fucking Venom and anything like what the class as the proto black metal to Dark Throne is just fucking galaxies apart. It's not going to prepare you for that. You know what I mean? But death metal doesn't either, because black metal's so tinny without any bassing whatsoever, and the vocals very rarely go guttural. Everything's done like at the high register, you know. But I kind of favour that over death metal vocals, because probably just because it's newer to me and it's a bit more novel, because I've had 30 years of fucking guttural vocals, I suppose. It's just novelty. You know, in another 30 years, I maybe wouldn't favour it, but yeah. I wouldn't know. You would have to go for one of them entry-level black metal albums, though. But I have sent you some links, like that second Marduk album, Those of the Unlight. That's fucking awesome as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Anyway,
curious
I'm sorry to do this, but I'm gonna have to shoot off.
No worries, mate.
Yeah.
Because
No worries.
she's on her own, because the lads have gone back to university, and you know. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching and listening to my drivel, and these guys will look after you till the end. And
Yeah.
I'll see you a lot next time.
Take care, Mike.
Pass on our condolences,
Cheers,
mate.
mate.
Cheers.
Talk to you soon.
Catch you. Right, so we're going to go on to Zed, and we're going to cut out all this black metal talk. Right. So I have gone for something that I don't think is particularly in any of your guys' wheelhouse. So we'll see how long this one goes. Obviously, Zed is. We haven't done Y, have we? Have we done Y? Did Mike do Y?
Yeah,
Yeah, you just did that one.
Yeah.
Yorg Moth.
So
Yeah.
I can't remember last time we did this, who did Zed, and whether someone showed Snow White or Zodiac Mind Warp. So I had to go for something different. I picked this one basically because of the cover. Because even if you don't like the music, and the music is, it's in my stoner collection, my stoner rock metal collection, you're gonna like the cover. So I've gone with Z, just to get the pronunciation right. It's not Z, it's Z. And I love that cover.
Nice.
That's cool.
And this is really kind of infectious, groovy stoner. And honestly, this label, Ripple, anything that when I see they put out something, I'm desperately trying to get hold of it. And I think they've just opened up a European distro. Everything else was the US, so it's always been really, really hard to get hold of Ripple stuff. But one of my favorite labels.
I don't know that label.
If you heard
Never
about
heard of them.
Mothership, they're on
Mothership.
Ripple. But absolutely killer stuff. I like my stoner rock. I champion that a bit. I don't have a massive collection. I probably have about 20 or 30 albums now. It's growing, but Zed are pretty good if you like something with a bit of groove and a bit of it's heavy, but it's light-hearted heavy. It's not in the same way as your Iron Maiden or the thrash at all by any means, but Trouble at Eden by Zed I think is very cool. It's a picture of them as well. They've got good beards.
You can't beat a good beard.
But no pictures, unfortunately. I'm not too sure where they're from, actually. So there's a small picture. Yeah, this is an older picture. If you look on Facebook now, they've got bigger beards. The beards, and I've bigged up the beards, and I've not done it.
Yeah.
So I apologise for that. But,
Brendan, where are they from?
Yeah.
Is that like, hey Google, hey Brendan?
Yeah. Brendan.
Brendan's like the heavy metal Alexa.
He's already changed his name once, so
Oh,
he's gonna have
you
to
know
do it
what?
again now. So he's good.
he's
Oh, here
told
we
it.
go.
Oh,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on.
You pissed him off. He's out of here.
Take
He had his
care, Brendan.
shine and he's gone. Cheers, Brendan. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
Brendan.
Okay, I got to clear something up then. So this little band from Texas is actually called ZZ Top. Is that correct?
Because they've got great beards.
Yeah, they got some great beards too.
That is
And what-
even if I really had ZZ Top in my collection as
No,
a Z.
ZZ
And I
Top.
would never have ZZ Top in my collections. I would not have had it. I would not have stepped in to help you out, Darcy. You're the one who
I
pushed
like
me.
ZZ Top.
At the end of the day,
No,
you-
let's get
You're-
this right. It's
ZZ Top.
It's ZZ Top. There's no
Sorry,
such thing as
ZZ Top.
Z.
Or just
ZZ Top.
Zzz Top.
I will go with that purely because I know that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah, Darcy's making a point there, I think.
Well, yeah. Sorry, mate. I probably had too much Vardis. I am out of it.
Talking of ZZ Top, I always found it quite amusing when I was younger that the only guy in the band who didn't have a beard was called Frank Beard.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourite facts ever. I just wish
Yeah.
I liked the band to back it up. But
I know, yeah, you can't write that. But I've never heard of Zed. That's another one really. I wouldn't, if I saw that on the shelf, I wouldn't quite know what style that was. It's almost, if that logo was a bit sort of spikier, it could be thrash.
That's a great cover though. That is nice artwork.
Yeah.
But I just haven't heard of that label. You said Mothership. Anybody else?
Oh God, loads. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. Or the Stake, a band that I've talked about, they signed to Ripple recently, I believe. But I mean, Ripple are a stoner metal rock label, so if you're not looking out for it, you probably wouldn't have come across it. But yeah, I just they are one label I will look out for, and I'm glad now that they've got a European distro. So hopefully I can get hold of some things a little bit cheaper than before. It was.
And if you were looking for Steak Ripple, you wouldn't know if it was music or a menu. That would you?
That sounds like a really funky ice cream.
Steak ripple. But no, I know Andy likes his. Is it stoner rock? Is it sort of metal?
Yeah,
doom?
stoner doom.
I have no idea. Stoner rock, stoner metal, stoner doom,
Yeah,
light doom. I don't care. If I hear it, I find it's just got just really infectious riffs.
yeah.
I find that I will say that heavy metal, it gets you in your head. You hear a good heavy metal song, and it gets your head banging. You hear a good stoner song, it gets you in the gut. It's it's a different it's a different way of feeling. When I hear a good stoner or doom, I just think like, well, that's got me right down here. Good metal up there, good stoner down there.
Do you like the band Trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to pick up some more of their stuff because, I don't know about the stoner aspect, but they're definitely in the doomy.
Yeah,
I think it's a great listen.
I think they're classed as sort of doom metal, aren't they? Trouble.
Yeah,
but that's one of those. That's why I ask, because it's one of those sort of areas that I'm just not quite. I hear people sort of say stoner doom and stoner rock and doom metal, and for me they're all kind of a much of a muchness. I think if there's a riff in there and it's a slow, Iron Void are another band, I find I struggle to kind of categorize them. Not that you should categorize them, but when you're making videos on YouTube, you've to try and get the idea of the style of music, you've kind of got to, haven't you? And I always find it hard to. What's the difference between stoner rock or stoner metal or doom metal? And
I think it is. I think the boundaries are blurred. When I think of stoner, I think of some things that are just a little bit more infectious than doom. Doom being slower. Sometimes it's just like you can go for a piss between the riffs because it just goes on, and I don't like that real traditional doom that is just like really, and it just kind of. I like things to be a little bit more upbeat. So stoner to me is almost like more of a heavy metal version of doom, really. And I don't mind some traditional doom. I mean, I am Void. I love them. I saw them, or I first got introduced to them 2 or 3 years ago, and they were supporting a band called Wretch. And if you don't know Wretch,
I've heard of them. Yeah,
Wretch are fucking awesome. Let me just grab that. It's down here somewhere. One of the best albums that I've ever picked up at a gig as a kind of a blind buy, having seen the band. These guys this is just a killer album. And that's when I first got into Iron Void, because they were supporting Wretch up here. And yeah, just amazing stuff. And I like Void, and Wretch are more, to me, a bit more traditional doom. I keep saying Zoom.
It's because you're talking about Zed.
Yeah. Here we go. There's a good explanation. The difference is the amount of weed.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The strength of the weed you're smoking.
To answer your question, Mark, I don't really know the difference. I just kind of go sometimes with what it says on Discogs, and I don't like it because it's stoner or doom. I like it because I've heard it.
Yeah.
And, but Ripple tends to be more in the sort of stoner doom.
Yeah.
I don't even know the difference really between stoner metal and stoner rock.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I remember the first time I heard Cathedral's Forest of Equilibrium when that first come out, and it was, Lee Dorian from Napalm Death, and it was two of the guitarists from Acid Rain, and this album came out, and it was like Black Sabbath, but it was being played at. If you could spin a record at 12 instead of 33, that's what it sounded like. It was just so slow, but it was like it still had those kind of stoner style doomy riffs, but it was just so slow.
Yeah.
And it's like some of the stoner bands, it's like they've got that Black Sabbath kind of riff in, but it can be faster. It can be quite upbeat, you know. And I suppose that's the difference, isn't it?
I like Liam's description there. I think it's. I mean, to me, it's not important that I get categorized. It's whether I want it or not. Some Doom to me is just too slow and sullen and morbid, and so I like it when it's a little bit more upbeat and infectious.
Yeah, I think Liam. It's a good description of that, Liam, isn't it?
Well, that's where the band Trouble comes in for me. I mean, I absolutely love the vocals too. The vocals are very unique. Very unique. I know Hammerheart Records probably has about 4 or 5 of them ready for reissue on vinyl. I am just ready to pull the trigger. Good stuff.
I've got this one. I was gifted this by Peter, who was watching earlier. If he's still watching now,
is that from Hammerheart?
No, it's an OG one. This one.
Oh wow! That's a great album.
Yeah, it's fabulous. He passed it on to me because he wasn't a fan of it, but it's I love it, absolutely love it.
Is that produced by Rick Rubin?
Yes, it is, and it's on the Deaf American label. I don't know if you can see. It's hard to see there, but
how did you tell that from the cover?
What's that?
Darcy, how could you tell it was produced by Rick Rubin from the cover?
No, I actually have the album, but there.
Oh right.
I'm not. There's some Rick Rubin stuff that I obviously love, and then there's some Rick Rubin stuff that I don't like. Obviously, the Slayer stuff, Rick Rubin, he fit like a glove. The Trouble stuff, but you know what? When he got involved with Metallica, I think it was on Death Magnetic. And he kind of just lays on a couch and does whatever he wants or whatever. I've heard stories about him, but some bands he just fits better. So
hello, Matt.
But Trouble, definitely Rick Rubin fits pretty well.
Yeah, I like. I mean, the classic Trouble album.
Sorrow, yeah,
is the one that everyone goes with what they call Psalm 9 now, which I think used to be. But the self-title. But I like Plastic Green Head as well.
Or The Skull.
Plastic Green Head is good. Yeah, that's quite a cool album. A bit different. So.
What's that other one everybody's been showing lately? Maniac Frustration. Manic Frustration.
Yeah.
It looks like kind of almost like a psych record.
Yeah,
psychedelic.
Yeah. Thanks, Anthony.
Good night, Anthony.
Have you heard being into that sort of style, Andy? Have you listened to that Solitude Eternus?
No,
that rings a bell. I think somebody. I think
Liam showed that.
Anthony,
Liam's a massive fan.
Metal Miners. He may have recommended that as one of his songs in my my contest. I don't know. The name rings a bell, but I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head.
I think again, it's a bit of a black hole, isn't it? When because they say like the lines are blurred between stoner and doom and that, and then when you get into it, there's a lot of bands out there doing it, and I never knew that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
So, is he still in the band then, Liam? Like, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't. I never knew that at all. Well, Liam's the man, the death doom metalhead. He's going to know anything. If he's
or no.
Yeah.
He's the go-to guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the death doom Google head.
Maybe he'll get his own Death Doom bobblehead.
Imagine, yeah, that'd be a good bobblehead with that beard at the bottom.
Yeah,
that'd be a good bobblehead. I'd buy one of those. Consecration bobblehead.
Oh no, we get them for free.
There you go.
Yeah,
we get freebies.
Right, so I think we have drawn out my Z, which was Z. as long as we can. So we have reached the end of the alphabet
We
again.
are done.
That was
A
good.
hell of a live stream, and a variety of emotions from start to finish there.
Yeah,
Hellfire.
definitely had it all, didn't it?
And
Yeah,
I think we haven't built our relationships anymore. I think we all particularly dislike what we did about each other in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we will no doubt have to do this again sometime.
but at least Mike's picks were decent this time, and not some crazy English Britpop band thrown in the mix.
Yeah, and you were crystal clear, Mark. I mean, this is probably the first time you've not dropped out at all.
Thank the Lord for 5G. There's a mast right outside my house, and my kids will probably grow up with 2 heads each. But my internet's perfect.
Yeah,
Two heads are better than one, Mark. That's what they say.
Yeah, that's right.
well, and thanks for having me back, you guys. I know you phoned everybody, you contacted everybody first and said, we're gonna have to settle for this dumbass again. But here I am, so appreciate it.
Option, Darcy. To be fair.
In all seriousness, it's been an absolute pleasure, Darcy. Don't for 1 minute think it'd be the last time you'll be on this.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure, mate. Absolute pleasure.
Cheers for doing it, Darcy.
Thanks, guys.
Right, guys.
Fun.
I want to thank everybody for jumping on. Had a great audience. Some of the comments tonight have been fantastic. Sorry if I've not kept up with them all, but absolutely,
He never does.
Absolutely superb stuff. Appreciate everybody for joining, and we will be back again, no doubt.
Yeah, we've got a bit of an idea for the next one, haven't we, guys? So hopefully that won't be too far away.
No.
Okay.
But, thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you next time.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend, all. Bye now.